Okay, Year 3, so this week we're going to think about the proportions of the face, and we're going to have a go at drawing the portrait of this lady, okay? Now, we're going to use the skills that we practiced last week of drawing the facial features. We're going to use those, but the thing that we're going to focus on is actually thinking about where all those facial features are positioned on the face. Now, if you have a look at this diagram, the face has been split, it has been made into an oval shape. Then there's a line has split the face in half, and just below on that line sit the eyes. So the eyes are about halfway down the face, in the middle of the face. And we can actually fit about 5 eyes along this line. So if you get your thumb and put your finger there, you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers worth along there. So you can actually fit 5 eyes along that space, and we need to leave a thumb space, eye, thumb space, eye, thumb space. That's how the eyes are positioned. The nose starts just as the eyes, where on the line that the eyes are, and comes down to another line where just below, just above where the mouth starts. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create the oval of our head, and then divide our piece of paper so that we can position the features and have a go at using the skills of portraiture that we learnt last week. So let's get going. The first thing I need you to do is open your sketchbook, and this is last week's lesson. What you need to do is you need to turn over. Now, if you use this sheet, then you're going to spoil the work that you have on the other side, because we're going to fold our work. So you need to be using the other side of the piece of paper. And the first thing we're going to do is fold the piece of paper in half. So that gives us the line of symmetry down the middle. And then we're going to draw an oval shape. Now, the oval shape needs to be the same on both sides of the piece of paper. I don't want to start right at the top, but I'm going to start just about here and create a nice oval shape that comes in at the bottom. And you want it as much the same on each side as you can possibly get it. Okay, then I'm going to draw the line of the neck. So the neck is near the edge of the head, but it's not so important today. And the shoulders coming down, okay? Okay, so now all I'm focusing on is the face. Now we want to find the middle point of the head, and I'd say that that is the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a really faint line, because you haven't got a line in the middle of your face, so it needs to be a faint line. This is where the eyes are going to fall on the page. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my thumb in the middle, put my thumb in the middle, and just draw some light lines around my thumb. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to move along, and I'm just going to put lines where my thumb ends. And you can see I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. The eyes are going to sit not right at the edge, but the 2 second spaces in, with a space in the middle. Okay, so this has given us where our eyes are going to go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this top part. I'm going to find the middle section, which comes about here. And then I'm going to draw the middle section between here, and this is, the nose will stop just above that line, and the mouth will start just below that line, okay? So already I sort of know where the features of my face are going to be. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make sure I can see both of these sheets because I want to remember some of the things I learned about drawing features last week. Now, if you have a look at this lady, I'm going to start with the eyes. If you look at her eyes, the eye just goes slightly above this line, and it starts, the corner edges of it start just below it. So it just comes above and goes below like that, and it fits just within that, just a little bit below. Okay, so I need, at this edge, I've got that funny little cone shape, which I'm going to shade in. Okay, and then I'm going to add the eyeball. Okay, if you remember, these are the steps we took. We made the lines around the edge nice and dark, and then we added the lid underneath. And then the eyeball, so the pupil in the middle of the eye. There we go, and then we left a little square of light in the corner, and then we started to add the rays coming out of the eye, and they went all around that central point. Okay, now I need to darken some of my lines, so I'm going to go around and darken around the edge of the eyeball and the pupil in the middle, and I'm going to darken my edges here. Okay, so I've got my lines in the middle, and I'm just going to go around. If you remember, around the edge I made them darker, and then I'm going to blacken out the pupil in the middle. Okay, make sure those lines around the edge are still nice and clear, and then I'm going to add lighter shading around the edge. Do you remember year 3? All these steps when we were drawing our eyes before. Okay, then I'd add just a little bit of shading at the top around the eye, coming down to the corner like that. And then, if I remember rightly, we added the line of the eyebrow, and we shade it in. So we make this line darker and we shade it in. The next step, if you remember, was to do the same on the bottom. So shading in, and then we added those long, slightly messy eyelashes, and you can remember, make them go in all directions, shorter underneath. Okay, now that's my eye, and then the last step would be just to add a little more shading, making the edges darker. So I've positioned my eye in the correct place now, okay? I'm going to leave you to do the other eye, and then we're going to move on to the nose. Now, if you look at the nose on here, it follows round from the eyelids. So if you imagine the eyelids are there, the nose, shape of the nose follows round and it starts about here, just above that lower line. And if you remember, we start with a circle for the nose, and then we drew lines that go out and then in like that. I think my nose, the circle needs to be just a little bit bigger. Okay, there we are. And then we added the shape of the nostril and the line of the nose, shape of the nostril, line of the nose, and we connected that further up the face. Okay, and then we made those lines at the bottom really nice and dark. And then we started to shade. So we shaded around the nose. We shaded up on the corners of the nose. Is this all, can you remember all these steps from our last lesson, year 1? Year 3? My goodness, I'll never get it right. Okay, I need to make those lines nice and dark. And then lines getting darker in this section here. Remember, shade around the nose in the middle as well. Okay, so I'll leave you to carry on with that, and then we'll think about positioning the mouth. Okay, so the mouth, got little lines that come down here a bit. The mouth starts just below that middle line. And if you remember, we have 2 pointed bits in the middle. And the shape of the mouth comes down and out. Not too big. It's very tempting to make the mouth too big. So remember, we've got that line in the middle to help us. Okay. And then year 3, remember, we make the outlines nice and dark of all those parts of the lips. And then we start to add the middle line. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave you then to shade in around the mouth. Remember, it's darker around the lips. Okay, so that gives us those 3 different features that we talked about in our last lesson. Oh, and also remember that you need to shade around the lips as well. So all those stages that you carried out when doing these pictures, you need to carry out on this one as well. You will also need to thicken up the eyebrows. And then this time we also need to add the ears. Now the ears fall just above the eyes. So they start just above, and you can only see a small section of the ear against the face. That's about all I can see of the ear in this picture. And then I can just see some shadows inside, which I will draw on. Okay, and then you need to think about the hair. The hair, I'm not going to spend too long explaining how to do the hair. But what I'd like you to do is, if you remember last year, we talked about how you need to find the shape of the hair across the face first. And then think about how the hair falls around that face. So we're not worrying too much about hair today, but let's just get the shape. So the shape of the hair on the head, okay? Once you've done the shape of the hair, you need to think about the direction in which the hair is falling on the head. So it's coming in this section is coming in all these different directions, and then this long part comes all the way down. So you're going to do single strands of hair like this. Look at the direction in which the hair is falling. Okay, over here it's falling across the head like this, and then over the head over here, and then down again. And that's what you need to do. Look at the direction in which the hair is falling. Once you've completed that, I haven't quite finished doing the hair. There's lots of little bits of curly hair sticking out over here. Once you've completed that, you can shade in the hair all over. Just lighter than the lines you've created. Okay? And there we have it, Year 3. That is how you need to have a go at making the correct proportions of a face. Good luck, Year 3.